The love in the huddle, ready to launch. Green and gold, never get squashed. Tough as nails, Lambeau royalty. Defense crackheads, pack of loyalty. Frozen tundra, gritty and cold. Jordan's got fire, stories untold. Lacing up cleats, destiny calling. Fourth down, he ain't stalling. Jordan Love, throwing bombs. Green Bay pride, palms to palms.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ched Talk, your post-game show from the Ope Network. I am, of course, Iowa Joe, and as you can see, I have no Brian with me. He decided he needed to go coach basketball, so it is just me. What a game. As always, you can drop your comments into our chat here, and I will do my best to get to them. I'm going to try fumbling my way through this, but like I said, what a game it was. It was not pretty. But it was still a victory. Hunter Burns, yes, Packers win today. It was, again, not a pretty win, but it's still a win. It counts in the record books as a win, no matter how ugly it was. So let's just get started. Finally, special teams stepped up and did something right for a change. Carl Brooks, with just the fingertip on the last second field goal try by Santos and the Bears. Let's be honest, it should have never came down to that anyway. For some reason, this Packers defense just could not do anything to stop Caleb Williams, which is really weird because everybody else in the world seems to be able to stop Caleb Williams. But good on special teams to finally step up and do something right for a change. And really, special teams was not seen a lot today. I mean, we had the one punt from the Celtic Cannon, Dan Whelan. We had your extra point attempts, but there was no field goals, just the one punt, a couple of kickoff returns, but other than that, special teams was pretty silent for the day, which in a way is something that you want to see, but it is what it is. So hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm hoping I'm not having audio problems, so I'm hoping everybody can hear me on everything. What were your guys' thoughts of today's game? Again, we're going to go over as much as I can with it. Jordan Love, for the most part, seemed to be like he was healthy. He took some hits towards the end of the game and got right back up. I still worry about the interceptions. That interception was a drive killer, and it was not a good interception. And I continue to say this. Can we now be concerned with Jordan throwing all his interceptions, or do we just continue to pass it off as, this is what we got to live with? I personally do not like to have to live and die by a gunslinger mentality. That was the one thing that drove me bonkers during the whole Favre debacle. Well, I won't say debacle because, he did tend to have more wins than losses, but you can't survive in the NFL nowadays with that kind of mentality. It doesn't work. Hopefully he can get over it. Hopefully he can take the next steps and get that whole mindset out. Now, a couple times today it did work. He did really have a connection with Christian Watson today. I'm trying to get my stats pulled up here. I was kind of slacking. So Christian had 4 receptions for 150 yards. Didn't get the touchdown. Kind of hoped for him. I wish they would have kind of pushed it to him, but it is what it is. And the Christian catches were amazing catches. I know the last one, they went into review and it to me, it didn't look like it was going to be overturned, but it and it didn't get overturned. But just the way the refs were kind of going today, it seemed like it could have been an either or way. True North, yes, like I said, I agree. A win is a win. When you look at the win loss record at the end of the year, it is going to say win. It doesn't tell you how pretty or how ugly it was, but a win is a win. And of course, it is over heated rival Chicago Bears. So it is going to, it helps that now we're not 0-3 in the division. Now it's 1-2. Hopefully, again, Jordan looked a lot healthier this week, and that continues going forward. You would love to see it continue to go forward because I believe they said it's the 49ers next week, and that's going to be a hard fought game. So back to offense, Josh Jacobs again. They looked like they had him stymied for a bit, but he was starting to get open for a little bit. 18 carries, 76 yards on the ground, 4 receptions, 58 yards through the air. True North, my 2-word review of today's game: poor execution. Yes, if you got to use that, then yes, but that's pretty typical coach speak, and I wish there was more to it than that. But I think all facets of the team were poor today. Poor play calling, poor execution, just all of it was kind of poor today. But again, a win is a win. So, the offense really wasn't horrible. They did what they did. They got the yards on the ground. It just seemed like the play calling wasn't there. I know the the Jaden Reed end arounds and those kind of things. People are kind of getting on because they know when it's coming. They know when it's coming. That's true, but you still like to have them as part of your your play calling script, just because Jaden is that type of playmaker that you want to get the ball into his hands any way you can get it into his hands. So I don't want to see him taken completely out, but they need to be called in better situations, not when it's like I don't even know what it was. I think the Packers were down, and I think everybody in the world knew something was coming. And it just they need to be more discreet with the way they call that play. Uh, Overall, like I said, the offense wasn't horrible. It was just the play calling, especially when it came down to Packers scored the touchdown. They go for the 2-point conversion, and you give the ball to Josh Jacobs up the middle. I don't understand that when the Bears defense has been kind of stopping the up the middle run. I think there should have been like a play action call or a run to the outside or a pitch or something like that, more than just a handoff up the middle, especially on an important 2-point conversion that would have put them up by 3, and the field goal would have only tied the game. So I don't understand that. I don't understand the consecutive run calls back to back in the late game. Obviously, it didn't hurt them too much because of the nice catch and awareness of Christian Watson to get up and run after the catch, knowing that he hadn't been down by contact. So, it overall it didn't hurt the offense too much. Now, defensive side of the ball, I don't get it. Yeah, turning it over on downs in the red zone instead of taking the points that was gross. again, like I said, it comes down to play call. I'm not sure of it. I understand in that point that they thought that they could get something over the Bears, but it wasn't happening. Take what points you can get out of it and go on. This game would have been looked completely different because had they done that, scoring the touchdown late would have put them up by at least 4. So that would have made it to where the Bears would have had to go down and score a touchdown and not get into field goal range. So completely agree on that. Like I said, the performance of the offense was not terrible. The play calling and the decision making was the terrible aspect of that. Defense. What can we say about this defense? This defense regressed, terribly regressed. They had done all right through most of the year going into this game. Last week, or not last week because that was the bye week, but the week before against Detroit was rough. But this game was just atrocious. I know they didn't give up. You can stand on it that they only gave up 19 points to the Bears. But this is a Bears team that I think they were saying hadn't scored a touchdown since week 8. And the Packers gave up, what, 2 of them? Yeah, 2 touchdowns to this team. Tackling was an issue. Again, I'd have to say scheming was a bit of an issue, and decision making was an issue. I got to say this. I've been saying this a lot lately. Keyshawn needs to get off the boundary. I don't care what PFF says. I don't care what all those analytics say. Keyshawn has been rough when it comes to a boundary quarter. Now I understand Jair went back out. They were, from what I understand of the conversations during the game, they were saying it was more precautionary than anything. That he kind of retweaked the knee. Okay, whatever. But that doesn't mean you slot Keyshawn in at boundary. There has to be somebody else that they can fit in there. I'd have to. I won't get the snap count for a little bit, but I don't think Eric Stokes played at all, and that seemed a little bit weird considering Jair went down. I think you'd want to at least get Stokes out there just to have a body out there. Carrington was a little bit rough. The tackling all over the team was rough. I know everybody's going against Quaid, but really all our middle linebackers weren't looking good. Uh, the pass rush was for a guy that got sacked. What was it, 9 times last week or 8 times last week? He only ended up getting sacked 3 times this week. Slayton, Cox, and Gary, 3 times this week. There were a couple others that potentially could have happened, but you know, close doesn't cut it. What's the old saying? Close only counts for hand grenades and horseshoes. So this brings me to Rashawn Gary. Rashawn really needs to stop the speed rush. Quano and I have said this a lot when it comes to our OPE episodes. Rashawn needs to stick to what he knows best right now and just continue the bull rush. And that kind of leads into what you're saying here, True. The back-to-back sacks was nice, but need more during the game. I think the lack of turnovers threw off the whole Packers, and that's true. But to go with the back-to-back sacks, Rashawn got his sack off of what he knew, and that's from the bull rush. So that tells me he needs to rely more on the bull rush and use the speed rush as a backup until he can get comfortable with it. Slayton getting in there and getting the sack, To be honest, I thought, and I'm sure everybody else did too, that they had finally figured something out on that final drive to get the stop. But then after that, you see them convert for the first down, get into field goal range. So, and I do agree that we needed more of the pass rush during the first part of the game. I'm starting to question Enigbare. I thought he didn't look very good on the field today. I don't. Again, I'm not going to go off any PFF stats or anything like that. It just, from my eyes, he didn't look like he wasn't holding the edge. He wasn't doing very well in the run game, and he really wasn't getting any pressures. So, in my view, I think I would play Brenton Cox more over Enigbare, and from that point, I know everybody's going to go after Lucas because Lucas did this, Lucas did that, but it's the whole rotational thing. They, instead of leaving some guy out there for the complete amount of snaps and only take him out for breathers, the rotation does a lot to that. It keeps people from. The bad part about the rotation is it doesn't allow for these young kids to learn a little bit more because they're in there for a limited amount of snaps. That's all I really got to say about that. But there was really no push from the uh, defensive line as a whole. Let's see what the Bears did for rushing yards. Swift had 70. Caleb Williams had 70. Roschon Johnson had 33. So you're at 174 rushing yards just between those three. And then DJ Moore had one carry for 5 yards. So 179 total rushing yards. That's not great. Gave up 231 through the air, but didn't give up any passing touchdowns. So I guess you can hang on your hat on that. Uh, so it, again, it was a win, but not a pretty win. And I don't think there's any one factor that you can push this on. I don't think you can blame any one factor for this whole game. It just always seems like the Packers do this after a bye week. They come out and they just look flat. I said this with Kwano. I think I said this with a couple other people. I in the game of Madden, when it comes to the bye week during a franchise, the AI always comes in and has one of the players step up and say, "Well, what do you want us to do for this week, Coach? Do you want us to go out and work, or do you want us to just have a relaxation week?" Me personally, with the way this team has been looking, they'd have been working their asses off this off week. But I get it. I don't know with the CBA. I don't know with anything else, and you got to rest some guys. So I don't know what the situation is there, but they definitely did not look like a team that had any kind of work this past week. So got to get better. Next week, like I said, I believe is the 49ers. And as kind of rough as they've been on the early part of the season, it's not going to get any easier for them, especially with the 49ers. Uh, what did the 49ers do today? Right now, they're winning 7-6 over the Seahawks, and they're almost to halftime. The 49ers are 5-4, and like I said, they have looked rough, but they're starting to get some of their key pieces back. And this Packer team can't go in there like they did against the Bears today and hope to come out with a victory. There's no way they can do that. So it's just not possible. Receivers need to start getting open. I did notice that there was a lack of anything to Tucker Kraft. So tight ends need to be used a little bit more. I don't know if that was intentional for this game or what, but yeah, there was nothing there. So I'm not going to stay on too much longer since I don't have my usual co-host. But I'll give it a few more minutes here. If you got any comments, drop them into the pages. Please drop a like, subscribe, and all that stuff, so you can catch us whenever we do. I just said do. Whenever we do live streams. True North. What do you got this time? Lots to clean up and improve on, but 7-3 in mid-November, heading into December, I'll take it. Right, and for the way this team has played throughout the year, 7-3 is really nice. And Mike and I have said several times, though, a little bit of luck has caused the Packers get to 7-3. If there had been just a little bit of different play out on some of those games, we could easily be 3-7, or we could be 10-0. So that's just what the NFL is. There's uh, a lot of different factors could change a lot of different games. A guy that I work with who likes to gamble, we'll just say gamble. Fuck it, I'm blunt. Who likes to gamble says one of the things that he hates betting on is the NFL just because anything can happen any Sunday. That's the whole moniker. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. So let's see. Who am I going to give my game ball to? Uh, I got to do Watson. He really stepped up. He was the guy that really carried this team on his back. Uh, I wish he would have got the touchdown out of it, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. He got the yards. He got the Packers into positions that they needed to be. So yeah, my player of the game is going to be Christian Watson. I'll give it a few minutes here. Go ahead, and if you guys got anyone that you want to mention as your player of the game, go ahead and drop it in the comments. But for me, Christian definitely has to be, with a close second being Josh Jacobs, just because of those two players were the guys that seem to be carrying this team on their backs. Uh, if I had to say anybody for least valuable, uh, I'm going to put mine on. Well, I guess according to this, Stokes did play a little bit because he had one tackle, but my least valuable would probably be Keyshawn. Keyshawn really did not look good this game. True North, who do you got? Who does yours say? Minus Sims for good blocking. That's about all you can ask for out of this tight end group today, which sucks considering both him and Kraft are pretty good receiving options too. But they both were pretty good in the blocking. Uh, I think it was even Jaden had a pretty good block on a couple of plays. So I can go with that. I'm a big Ben Sims truther. I'm glad that he's on the roster. He does bring blocking in there and can get a little bit. It can be a weapon in the receiving department too. So, all right, peoples, I've bumbled my way through this. We will be back next week after the 49ers game. Hopefully, I've got old Brian here with me to do this. And then our normal schedule for episodes, Mike and I's Ohana Packers edition drops on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this coming Tuesday, we will do a full breakdown of this game, giving our fresh, stale, and moldy takes of this game. Find that wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We normally, let's do our normal outro. So please like and subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Please drop us a thumbs up. Give us some comments on our YouTube. We are on YouTube, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, all those fun places. Open Network for the streams. To find us on socials, we are still on the the Elon machine for now at Ohana_Packers. Kawano and I have started migrating more towards Blue Sky. I am Iowa Joe over at Blue Sky, and I think Mike is his normal Kawano Mike over on Blue Sky. We still do have our accounts on Twitter, but we probably are not going to be as active over there. So if you want to hear our takes, if you want to have a discussion, we will be over at Blue Sky. Instagram and Facebook, Ohana Packers Edition. Find our website, ohanapackers.org, where you can find all our great articles, all our past episodes, and of course our merch store. We are still doing our initiative. Please go over, buy some merch, support some good causes. We have cancer awareness, military appreciation. Money from those purchases will be donated to charities, so please go over and make your purchases. Make your purchases of other merchandise too. Support us, support what we do, help us out. We have Cheese Talk merch over there, we have Oak merch over there, all kinds of stuff, player related merch, Packers, everything you wanted to ask for over there. I do try to put up new designs as I think of them. So, and if you have any ideas on what you want as merchandise, please drop it for us. Be sure to reach out. Give us some reviews. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. We will take a look at them. We will read them. That is all I've got for you. I am Iowa Joe. This has been Ched Talk. See you on the other side. Go Pack Go, and the Bears still suck.